Like, they have a Hall of Fame left tackle, a guard who has a Hall of Fame trajectory, a center who, before he had his illness, arguably you could say was on a Hall of Fame trajectory in Frederick. Collins was a steal. Williams, I mean, I feel a certain way about the University of Texas Longhorn offensive linemen and how they don't produce any good ones anymore. But Connor Williams is there. And this isn't my USC Trojan bias coming in, but it's just a fact. Texas doesn't produce offensive linemen anymore. They go elsewhere. But I look at this, but like, to have that kind of an offense, which probably would have won a Super Bowl in any other past era, I look to the defense, which yet again, I feel like the Cowboys are playing with house money because Jalen Smith had that horrific injury. Matt, like, miraculously came back. Leighton Vander Esch had the neck problem at Boise State. People knew about it. Like, there was no secret. And now you're starting to see him kind of break down. Sean Lee, honestly, I don't know who probably has more worse knees, him or LaCharles Bentley. But Booby Miles, like, I don't know whose knee's worse. But between the three of them, like, it's just walking knee pain and destruction. But I look at that defense, and I say, I think that's the real reason the Cowboys are in this position, because they let Byron Jones walk. They've drafted safeties and guys who just haven't been right. The corners are actually the last thing holding that defense together, because the Colorado corner,
he got hurt, though.
Dig, yeah, he's good, but he got hurt. Diggs' brother is good. They have young, competitive, tough corners, but the safeties are trash. And then you lose Byron Jones. I don't see where this defense or this team recovers if they can't somehow get like some all-star DB like 2 years from now. Like, if they don't somehow end up with Darryl Stingley Jr., I think the Cowboys might be done for another 10 years. What say you?
No, you're right. No, you're right. I think what confuses me, and I just don't understand, that you look at teams like the Steelers with Minkah Fitzpatrick, you look at the Kansas City Chiefs with Juan Thornhill and Tyrann Mathieu. You can look at any other, the Patriots with, Stephon Gilmore and the McCourty twins. You go up and down the best teams in football in a passing league where you've got guys throwing for 4,500, 5,000 yards on a regular. The Cowboys, for the better part of 25 years, have refused to invest in the back half of the secondary. They haven't had really the kind of impact safety since Darren Woodson left this football team. We're talking about a guy who left 20-plus years ago. They tried to do it when they drafted Roy Williams out of Oklahoma. That didn't work out. They tried to draft a corner, in, I believe, 2014. That was Morris Claiborne's year. Like, they've tried in different ways, but they just do not evaluate the secondary very well.
Terrence Newman.
And it's burned them. Terrence Newman, that's probably the best corner
they ever had.
The Cowboys have had in the last,
since Deion.
Years. Like, Terrence Newman, yeah. Well, yeah, when Deion was there in the mid to late 90s, but the Cowboys just refused to invest in that secondary, and it has cost them year after year, and you see it time and time again this year. But this secondary is just barbecue chicken. Like, Daryl Worley is not an NFL corner. I don't know why Daryl Worley's on this football team. It just makes me so upset every time I see him out there getting burned by. He got burned by Christian Kirk for an 80-yard touchdown. Odell Beckham, was killing him, in the Browns game. Like, it's just.
He'll get one pass broken up every game just to keep him in the rotation. But he'll give up 2 touchdowns. Like,
he has decent agility.
He'll make one play,
acceleration,
and it's like, oh, maybe. But it's like, nah.
He did it with the Panthers. He did it with the Raiders. He does it everywhere he goes.
Yeah, and I feel bad for a guy in Trevon Diggs who you can tell he has the it factor. Like, you can tell, he's going to be a really good corner in this league. But right now, he's taking his lumps as any rookie corner does in the league, and you're going up against the best wide receivers in the National Football League. Like, you got matched up against DeAndre Hopkins. You've gotten matched up against, DK Metcalf. Your boys out in Los Angeles with Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp. who, by the way, screened us to death. I did not appreciate what the Rams did in that game. Screened and play actioned us to death, in that football game. So this secondary, until it improves, you're right, it could be a long time before this team really is successful because they can't get any pass rush, and then you're asking these corners to defend on an island, and they're not good enough. And, hopefully Trevon Diggs continues to grow and mature, but for right now, man, like I said, he's Captain Barbecue Chicken every Sunday.
I got one more question on the Cowboys. Is this drama that we're seeing with, players calling out their coaches and Mike McCarthy coming back at him, saying we got to handle it as men and stuff like that. Is this just some year one rub? Like, is it going to get better? Or is this just going to go up in flames, this whole Mike McCarthy era, before it even really gets started?
It's tough to say initially because the report from James Slater was that, these players, certain players feel like the coaches are not having them prepared. Mm-hmm. They feel like they're not teaching them correctly. They feel like they don't know what their jobs are and how to do them. And that's frightening when you have a new coaching staff coming in trying to teach and build, some new techniques with some different defenses, some philosophy changes from, Jason Garrett for the past decade. And 6 weeks in, guys are like, this ain't it. Like, we can't get out here and keep doing this week after week and there not be some kind of change, because when players are talking in this manner, they're telling us in the media, like, hey, something's got to change here, and we can't get through to the coaches, so it's time for us now to start speaking to the media. And that can't happen under any head coach, let alone a first-year head coach or a new head coach on a brand-new, football team. And I'm surprised that a Mike McCarthy team at all would have this kind of stuff, leak out. And if Dak Prescott is in that locker room, I don't think that gets out necessarily. But at the same time, he's not in there. And guys are willing to talk, and they're doing so. But I don't think this will be the end of Mike McCarthy after year one, especially. I run him a pass for the most part because of the amount of injuries that have decimated this football team. So for that alone, he gets a pass for me from this season because no one can operate with your starting two tackles. One, as you mentioned, is going to be in the Hall of Fame, and especially losing your franchise quarterback, who was really the only reason why this thing was staying afloat before, he, got injured. So I'm running McCarthy a pass right now. But, you can't have folks leaking, that kind of mentality out the locker room.
What do you think was more damaging? That piece that came out on Mike McCarthy regarding him and Aaron Rodgers' relationship deteriorating, or Jerry Jones not getting his Dak situation handled?
Jerry not getting his situation handled with Dak, that should have been done 2 years ago. The reports with Mike McCarthy and Aaron Rodgers, those things happen from time to time, and I think both of them got to a point where they had been with each other for nearly a decade and a half, and that relationship probably started to get stale. Aaron Rodgers wanted to do some different things, maybe have some more control, of the offense. Mike McCarthy has always been a guy who's called the plays, for his offense, and that communication seemed to break down toward the end. But, they had a decade run where they went to multiple NFC title games, won a Super Bowl together. It was probably time for a new voice in Green Bay anyway. And I think Dak Prescott said it best when he, learned that Mike McCarthy was going to be the head coach, that he didn't want to talk to Aaron Rodgers. He wanted to build his own relationship with Mike McCarthy based on how he and Prescott would communicate with each other, which I respect that, because getting an opinion from another guy could, yes, be beneficial in learning some of the, idiosyncrasies of a coach, but at the same time, you want to learn him for yourself so you can build that rapport and relationship with him. But Jerry not getting Dak done when he should have gotten it done, when Jared Goff got his deal done, when Carson Wentz got his deal done, now it's cost the Cowboys maybe $8 to $10, maybe $12 million more because they didn't sign Dak when they should have a couple of years ago. And you give Dak credit for playing it the way that he did with his agent Ty France, but at the same time, that's on Jerry for not getting that done. So I would say that would be the bigger story of the two.
All right, Kevin. Well, great stuff, man. Thank you so much for staying up with us, and best of luck to you, man. Really proud of you. Keep going. You know, we've seen you put in the work, and it's great to see all the success you're having, man. But before we let you go ahead and plug your social channels. Let people know where they can find you.
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate you guys having me on, man. A lot of fun with you guys as always, man. You can find me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Kevin Gray Sports, and subscribe to my YouTube channel at youtube.com/Kevin Gray Sports. Really, really appreciate that.
All right, man. Have a good night.
Appreciate it, fellas, man. Y'all stay tight. Y'all don't get out there and get on the Golden Tate, Jalen Ramsey type stuff.
Indeed, likewise. Indeed. Have a good night.
All right, guys. All right.
Oh, sorry. You know me, I get trigger happy on that.
Always prematurely hanging up on people.
Sorry, my bad. Sorry, Kevin. But yeah, man, that was Kevin Gray. Shout out to him for coming through. Like his third time on our show? Fourth time?
I thought it was second.
Nah, he's been on a couple times.
Damn, we are almost at 200, so we're getting mighty close. We're like 5 away, I swear.
5 away from a Jalen Ramsey Golden Tate?
From a case? But then we wouldn't get fined. Damn, that's what Marshawn Lynch was trying to play to see. To get in a fight with somebody in the field and not get fined for it.
But yeah, man, so the Cowboys were the big story of the week, obviously, with their collapse and the NFC East just being horrible. You know, this Eagles versus Giant game. We had Daniel Dimes, as he's all of a sudden being called, break off an 80-yard run, only to
Daniel
stumble and fumble and...
Stumbling, bubbling. Shout out. R.I.P. Damn it, what's his name? R.I.P. Keith Jackson. No one said stumbling, bubbling, fumbling, but funnier than him. But yeah, man. Just speaking of collapses, the Minnesota Vikings. Like ever since Prince died, Minnesota has not been the same. It's just true. I mean, why is a bank running Prince's estate?
I don't know what's worse.
I feel bad for Joe Mauer.
The Vikings giving up a second-round pick to get Yannick to trade him in...
They gave up a third.
No, they gave up a second to get him.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
And now, 6 games later, they trade him for a third and a fifth. I don't know what's worse.
He had 5 sacks.
Or the fact that ESPN was clowning on this Thursday night game between the Giants and the Eagles all day long, saying how irrelevant it is. But literally, that's all they were talking about.
I mean, what else are they going to do?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's
I'd rather watch
about
college
this game,
football.
but you're literally keep talking about it. It's just making more people watch it on one hand. And then on the other hand, you got someone essentially going putting premium at a garage sale only to sell it on eBay for even less.
But the real winner is Yannick because he wanted to go to Baltimore to begin with.
Yeah, he's from Maryland.
Yeah, he played at Maryland. Jinx.
He wants to contend for some kind of title. I mean, Minnesota was at the beginning of the year was supposed to take the division, and they're the worst team in the NFC North right now.
Well, Kenny's boy Danielle Hunter went down.
Danielle Hunter. Don't call a grown man Danielle.
Danielle Hunter went down with an injury, so. That was supposed to be Yannick's counterpart.
And, yeah.
But now he'll be across from Judah.
Matt Judon, yes. And honestly,
we can't talk.
You can't, you can't enunciate. You and Floyd Mayweather, it's okay.
I'm going to read a book of Harry Potter on the 200th episode.
No, I'll make it easy for you. Read Charlie Bone. It's a better read. But yeah, so the Vikings are collapsing. Danielle Hunter's on IR. They're pretty much turning on Kirk Cousins. Justin Jefferson is looking like he'll be even better than Stephon Diggs.